Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Reviews where today we have ourselves another track by an act named Sweet Lily Love titled Anything. And if we switch over to here, it is a pleasure to be reviewing more of Sweet Lily's stuff. I've listened to a plethora of their tracks at this point and typically I have a really good time with them. So today we have Anything, the art for it here. We also have lyrics, and what we're going to do is we're going to listen through this track from start to finish and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Quick tempo, great sub-bass oscillation. Great subtle build there. Let's just pause for a sec. That's probably one of the cleanest builds I've heard from Sweet Lily Love across the entirety of their discography so far. It just elevated so promptly, you know? Like, don't get me wrong, like, there was gradual transitions like builds with the risers, but just the piano motif that came in with the vocals, everything was nice and energetic and peppy, and even though there was a little bit of struggle going on with the story, it's just so good to listen to. Great energy to the synths. A little bit of filter work. Yeah, no, that was fantastically smooth. Really happy with that. Yeah. There's absolutely no staying on a concept for too long. Callian's vocals ring true in the mix. Great coloration to the overall vibe of the track. Fantastic tones with the synths. Yeah, it slaps. No filler whatsoever. No, this is honestly one of the strongest tracks I've heard from Sweet Lily Love yet. Great reverb tails there, fantastic side chaining of those kicks. The pulse, the slow fade out, fantastic. Good effort, genuinely. So we've got lyrics on the left here, you know, when I was much younger I just didn't know what I'd do. I'd not yet heard the music that set my soul so free. So they were left behind, but then, you know, if I could be anything, I'd be a raver girl. If I could do anything, I'd learn to dance and twirl. See, this is great. The kind of music that we have here makes sense with the story. Everything is well connected, you know? It's easy to see how the pieces, you know, how to join the dots. And then we're kind of intertwining that with the love for like, you know, love for rave. With the love for the person that we're discussing, you know, if I could be anything, I'd be your lover girl. If I could be anywhere, I'd be with you tonight, forever young and free under the pulsing lights. Great. I was a child back then and I couldn't dance, but I would change it all if I had the chance. Yeah, okay, that's great. Honestly, like, you know, making love to the rhythm and the bass so sweet. Too late I found the sound I was desiring. To turn back the hands of time I would do anything. Okay, cool, man. Because this is the conclusion of my review of this track titled Anything from Sweet Little Love. And basically, what I think this track is about is someone who is basically found rave, the trance music, this kind of stuff we're going for, this happy hardcore kind of stuff, and they're really passionate about it, which is something that was a given anyways, considering my history with Sweet Little Love's music. But, you know, we've got someone here who's talking about how they fell in love with the genre, and then they've obviously got someone else that they're into, but they didn't necessarily have that, the exact correct connection back then, the pulsating lights weren't quite where they needed to be. They weren't underneath them together. And I think that the idea is that we wish we could go back in time and have things differently so that we could not only enjoy, you know, the rave music, but also enjoy it together and just dance and enjoy all the different elements of it. And so it's like a love song, it's a love of loss, but it's also a celebration of a genre that really excites them and that they appreciate. And I think that's a really cool thing to write a song about. So good stuff. I think the vocal style here from Callian, you know, those vocals, they were fantastic. The melodies that we chose were spot on. They harmonized well with the rest of the accompaniment. There was a nice energy of positivity. There was a sense of loss to some of the sadder lyrics, but ultimately the vast majority of the time we had this really kind of upbeat, up-tempo vibe here where we were really kind of excited to be able to enjoy the music. And I think that passion, that charisma is very important for this kind of music. You really need to sell it at a similar energy level to what we have going on with the backing itself, because otherwise you've got this kind of juxtaposition that really doesn't need to be there. If you're too like kind of downbeat with it, you may as well just not have singer at all. But I think the story being told by Callian here, the way it was performed and expressed and emoted, was absolutely terrific for it. There was a humanity to the performance. Seemed like they genuinely felt every word they spoke. Very believable, and I'm happy with it. It's good stuff. It's good stuff, man. Good technique, good stuff. I think that the track at 3 minutes 14, in terms of its structure, is well within that 2 to 4 minute sweet spot. So it's very easy to kind of like follow along to. There's lots of little different sections between the verse parts to the hook sections to the builds, some of the lower kind of energy parts there where we still add the chord note accents on those kicks. You know, we had a lot of range here, lots of different instruments, but it's also the different parts of this relatively through composed track here that allowed the listener not to get too sort of like stuck in one area. It really encouraged us to kind of take the journey with Sweet Little Love and Callian and really kind of get absorbed in their world. And I think that the structuring of it was great. The composition itself, with the combination of these different key parts, the synths, the basses, the drums, all the samples and the textures, were wonderful. The rises, any sort of pads we had there. It was eloquent and articulate. It was professional grade in terms of the quality of the samples and that were used within the composition. And I think that we really just handled ourselves really well. I think this is definitely a genre that Sweet Little Love excels in. It's clearly something they're comfortable with in regards to the production. You know, we had like a little bit of a mystery with the backing in regards to the chord progressions and such like that. We didn't go too heavy into the sadness part of it. We had a lot of energy and it was ferocious, especially when those kicks came in. Boom, 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 you know. This would be at home in any DJ set list, to be honest, and I hope that they do get some love for this. But I think more importantly, you know, the key and chord parts that we played there, switching between those grooves on the piano, obviously, or the electric keyboard, with when the drums coming in simply being so kind of persuasive and moving the listener forward, the bass being so kind of like closely tied to that groove there, but also filling up the low end nicely regardless. And any other stuff just either kind of bringing us up or bringing us back down. There was a lovely balance between the elements and it definitely sounded authentic for the genre. I don't really know what you could have done to improve it. It genuinely feels like Sweet Little Love is at the top of their game, and I'm not saying that because I feel as if I need to. I hear this and I think there was enough interesting stuff going on throughout, enough changes with the different layers of each part. You know, like there was no filler elements here, nothing unnecessary. The track was short and sweet relative to what we had with regards to content. We had a lot of story being told within that 3 minutes 15. And we didn't really sort of like copy and paste anything either. We were in and out. It really is, I think, emblematic of like the development that we've had throughout the time making this music. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch Sweet Lily Love continue to grow as a music producer and someone working within these genres of the electronic music. And it's at a point now where I don't really know what they could do differently to make it better. I just think that they're making great music, and like I hope they continue to make more stuff like this because it really suits them. They've got a great knack for it. It's just, I suppose, about finding other producers who make similar music, collaborating with them on stuff, and trying to sort of encourage DJs to consider your music in their sets to just kind of get more sort of like attention, you know? I think outside of the way it is, I think the theme that this track was centered around was one that was upbeat and kind of, it wanted to celebrate the feeling of being under those lights, the pulsating lights, the bass, the synths, the melodies, how kind of euphoric it was. And with that theme being like that, with the major triads there, the constant kind of like pushing you forward there, how kind of loud and bombastic everything is, that made sense with like the vocals and the story. So everything was pretty well connected, and I don't really think there was a note out of place. I mean, finally, it's just the recording, mixing, and mastering, and I'm very happy with this. I mean, these headphones are pretty unforgiving with this stuff, you know, especially the new ones I have. And the reason I got them is simply because I wanted headphones with a flat EQ. And I'm sure people who have done music production will know what that means. It means if there's going to be issues in this mix, I'm going to hear them. But ultimately, I just think things are pretty well handled. There didn't sound to be any sort of like severe resonant frequencies or anything like that. The vocals were well balanced with like the piano, the synths, the bass, and the drums. Things are nice and wide in the stereo field as well. There's lots going on, keeping it nice and exciting. No weird resonant frequencies in the frequency spectrum. The leveling was also pretty good. Got no real complaints about that. Side-chaining at the kicks to the bass and stuff was fantastic. It wasn't overbearing at all, you know, within reason. There was dynamic range to this as well. You can see from the waveform in the track how the thing gets bigger or smaller. That's usually a good indication of it, but also it felt as if it was getting louder and quieter in parts, which I appreciate, because that means that for the listener, it's going to be less boring in that regard, you know. If things go quiet, you're like, why is it going quiet? Then back up, boom, you know what I mean? And then I suppose finally, it's nice and loud without pumping, so the limiting was sort of, I mean, like, sure, there was side chaining of like the kicks and stuff like that, coordinate groove is strong, but it wasn't to a point where it was a detriment or it sounded poorly mixed or mastered. I mean, this is my review of anything by Sweet Lily Love. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go check out Sweet Lily Love's various social medias and SoundCloud page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time. It's need to help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.